Hey guys, what's going on? And welcome to our review of Five Nights at Wario's, the first one. So if you don't remember this game, it's because I played it a while back on the channel. And so if you're new around here, or you came in after I've done the series, then I recommend you go actually watch the series first and then come do this. Unless, of course, Five Nights at Wario's is a free game, so I'm going to be judging it based on the idea that it's free. Because obviously they couldn't charge money for it because it's a fan-made game of FNAF, right? So the game is free, so I would also recommend you go play it yourself as well before you kind of listen to our review. And I just want to let's just see if our review is mixed, because I think it's a pretty decent game. So we'll get started. So starting with the game company / creator. The game company / creator is, of course, Wario. I believe they have made other games. I believe they made a horror test, it's like a personality test, but it's like a horror game. And I will definitely be checking that out at some point. They've obviously made I think it's 5 games of the Wario series, I believe. And I wasn't asking for confirmation. And so they made that, and I think they might have made something else, but other than that, they're a very small company. I don't even know if they are a company. I just know that I think it might be multiple people. I'm not too sure on how many people run the company or whatever, but they do have a lot. They have a pretty good following, I would say. So, moving on to what is done well. Well, in the first game, what is done well is I like that not only do you have a door like regular FNAF, but you also have a window, because I don't think any game besides technically not Scary Bridge, Sister Location didn't really have a window. And so it's a cool mechanic, and I like that Wario and Waluigi stick to the door, meanwhile Luigi and Peach stick to the window, and so you don't have any interlocking things there where you're like, oh, why are they on that side, or like whatever. And then of course we'll go over the whole roster of characters later, but that's kind of I like the whole window mechanic. I think that's cool. I do like, although it was frustrating sometimes, that Mario's whole mechanic where he's appears in the camera, or appears on the monitor in front of you, and every time you pull up your camera, he eventually gets closer, and if you pull up too many times, he comes into your room, and I assume he kills you. I think we did see that when I tried to die. I think he was the one that killed me. I'm not too sure. But I do like his mechanic of that. I think it's really cool, and they did that in Flumpties. I don't know which came first, but they did that in Flumpties as well, where the what's his face, Grumpfist the Clown or whatever, would come closer every time he flipped with the camera after a certain point. His mechanic was frustrating though in Flumpties, and this one, and Mario's wasn't. His was actually doable. And I believe if you let him kind of just sit there on the camera for a while, he eventually will leave, unless he's of course on 20 or something. But I like that mechanic a lot. The overall art style is very cool as well. They very well animated kind of the story at the beginning. I do know that there is a secret ending that I didn't get, but that's of course I think I did get the secret ending. It's something about Emma. That was the name that popped up. If you beat whatever the 20 mode is. So when we did do that, miraculously, I didn't think I would, but I did. And so that there's a secret ending for people that do whatever the 20 mode is, which I think is really cool. Let's see. The sound effects are really creepy, especially the whole I don't know if it's Wario screaming or who's screaming, whoever's screaming, they do that quite often. It's kind of loud and scary. You can even hear Peach walking around, because her main thing is sound, I think, because she's not always on the camera. And so when you hear stilettos walking, that's her. I think that Luigi's, despite him being an awful character in general, Luigi being completely silent throughout the night, he just appears on the cameras and eventually, obviously, in your window. He doesn't make a sound as far as I'm aware, unless he's the one screaming, which could be possible. I always thought it would be Wario Waluigi though, because it usually happens when one of them shows up on your door. So all the characters have a kind of mechanic that works well, that they work well together too. Obviously the difficulty, we just talked about Kindergarten technically, but we also talked about Overcooked, which is probably out at this point for you guys. We talked in Overcooked that the difficulty of the game was so hard we didn't even want to beat it anymore. This game was almost too easy, but it still wasn't easy. I could have just messed up and died, right? Especially with Mario's mechanic, where I don't know how many times I can flip up the camera until he's there. So I could have messed that up, but I just didn't, because I'm a pro gamer. But it's not too easy or not too. It's definitely not too hard. It was almost too easy, but I think they kind of messed that up a little bit in the second one, which we'll get to at a later date. But yeah, so the actual difficulty of the game is very good. Moving on to what could be improved. Honestly, I don't know. I would say maybe have like. What I would improve actually is I wish the custom night was kind of like FNAF 2, where there was like scenarios, right? Because you could have made up so many cool scenarios. Like you could have used names from like the Mario Party games. Like what's Wario and Waluigi? The something bros.
Like I don't think it's Wario.
Unlikely allies is that's Waluigi and Luigi, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you could have had like unlikely allies, both of them on 20 or something. You could have had Yoshi's not in this one. He's in the third one. You could have had Mario and Wario, like maybe, or maybe like Mario, Waluigi, and Wario, maybe like enemies or what. I don't know what you would call them, but you could have had scenarios like that. And of course, obviously, you would have still had the 20 mode. But I wish you kind of had scenarios kind of like that, because then it would give me more reason to play the game. Because I beat this in 2 episodes, I think, right? Mm-hmm. So. And I think I got to night 3 or 4 on the first one, whatever. And then I finished the game on the second episode. So I just wish there was more, essentially. I do know that most people that play this game on YouTube play the old version, whereas like the 1.0 version and like they released it. I played the 5.0 version, so it was like fully revamped and all that kind of stuff. So they updated the logo, they updated a bunch of stuff, they updated the models, I believe as well. So I don't think there's any problems there. That's really the only thing I would add. It may be just a little bit harder, but even still, I don't know if I wish that upon myself. So, but that's all I can really think of right now. Any problems or glitches? As far as I'm aware, I don't think so. I think, like I said, I did the 5.0 version, so if there were any bugs or glitches last time, they probably fixed them. I don't believe I encountered any. If you, of course, can correct me if you watch the episodes on it. I don't believe so, unless like, I don't know, the camera didn't work or something when it should have. But I don't think that happened. So, moving on to controls. So controls are very simple. It's I don't think you're really using any keys actually. It's just the mouse and it's your clicking, left clicking, the door, the window door essentially, or the flipping up the camera, and then obviously you just switch the camera. So it's really you're just using the mouse to click and stuff. So very simple controls, very easy to learn. It's just like FNAF, not too hard. Moving on to graphics. Is this a high fidelity game? No. But I feel like if it was, it wouldn't be as scary. I think actually the idea that Mario's just a floating hat, eyes, and a mustache is pretty creepy to me. And I like the way that kind of like the uncanny valley kind of style of the game. And so, like, for example, like you're in a factory in the first one. And so you kind of see these black and white pictures of like machinery, and it kind of sets a weird tone. And of course, you can obviously see Waluigi or Wario in one of the cameras, of course. And just to see them kind of move around as well is kind of creepy as well. So I don't think it would have been good as like a super high fidelity game. I think it actually is creepier the way it is. That's what I'd say about that. So moving on to sound. I briefly touched about this a minute ago, but the sound in this game is very, very well done. Like I said, all the sounds that people make are creepy. Mario has his own creepy theme song in here. It's his normal theme song, just like slowed down and I think deeper as well. So it's super creepy, and like I said, the screaming is really loud and creepy. And then the door sounds are awesome. That sounds like you're actually closing a door, like a high security door, not just a normal door. And so I don't know what else to say with the sound. It's just really good. It's really good sound, and the music at the end, I believe, is also really good too. So very well done. Moving on to story and character. So, I mean, I don't think I need to go over the characters too much. It's just, you have Wario, Waluigi, Mario, Peach, Luigi, and you have that other dude that I never saw, but apparently he's in the game. It's like the Waluigi, but it's the Wario, but he has like a suit on. He has a suit on or whatever. And so, just to go over their mechanics again, Mario, he'll be in the camera, not the camera, the monitor that's in front of you. And he will appear and he'll get closer and closer as the night progresses. And essentially, if you leave him for a while, he sometimes go away, or if he gets really close, you might want to just kind of sit and hope. Wario and Waluigi kind of act similar. They will attack the door all the time. I think Waluigi has a bit of a different pathing. He gets to the door, but it ends up at the door anyway. And if you leave them there for too long, or you open the door when they're still there, they can kill you. So simple as that. Mario can kill you too. I don't know if I specified that. And then Luigi and Peach both follow the side window kind of route. Again, I think they take different routes, but they eventually end up there anyway. Peach is full-on noise. You really don't see her in the cameras too often, so every time you hear her stilettos getting closer and closer, that's when you can shut the window over there. Luigi is pure silence, like I said, unless he's the screaming, but I don't think he is. So if he's there, he's just there. I think you're supposed to follow him on the cameras, but I didn't really do that. But if once he's there, and you just gotta close. He does leave pretty quickly. That was the one thing I gave him crap for, I think, was that some night, like at the later nights he would leave quickly, and the earlier nights he would stay there for like a long time. And I honestly, like I said, I didn't encounter the Wario 2.0. I don't know what his mechanics are. I imagine maybe he's another Wario that comes on the left side. I'm not sure. Like I said, I didn't really interact with him too much. But yeah, so those are that's the characters. The story, I believe, is that you're an abandoned factory that Wario and Waluigi owned, and they disappeared one day. Mario went in to go check out the scene. He disappeared as well, and I think that next was Luigi because he was looking for Mario. Didn't disappear as well. Noticing a train here that you'd be like, wait a minute, I probably shouldn't go into an abandoned factory that 5 people disappeared from. Sure, why not? So Peach joins in as well and gets murdered, of course. And then I don't know the story of the other guy. He wasn't really mentioned. And at the end of the story, I'm not sure who this Emma person is. She's been referenced, I think, in every game so far. Like I said, I don't know. She's even in the 4th one, which I'm currently playing through right now. I'm on a bit of a break from it, not because I hate it, but just because I wanted to do other stuff. So she's in that one too. So I'm not sure about that story. It's probably a lore thing. I think this game does have a lore. I didn't watch it, but I did scroll past a Wario's lore thing. That was like 20 minutes. So clearly the game has lore in it, which I do appreciate. So moving on to replayability. So just to go over my terms for this, you have limited, meaning the game is like it ends at some point, and then you have technically unlimited, I guess unlimited would be the word I would use, meaning it ends at some point, but you can still play it over and over again, but it'll probably be the same content. And then you have totally unlimited, so like a game like Minecraft that's like every time you play will be different. So I'm gonna say this is a limited game, because while yes, you can of course play it over and over again, you're not gonna see anything different. Because take my playthrough for example, I beat the game in 2 videos essentially, and that was including the 20 mode I did. So it wasn't that hard, right? And so to someone that played it like I did, there's nothing left after you get the secret ending. There's nothing left. So the game does end eventually, and you would have really no reason to play it again. Because unless you're doing it for nostalgic purposes, there would be no reason to do it again, because it would be the exact same, really. So I'm going to put it in limited. It's still a good game, though, keep in mind, but it is kind of a limited game. So moving on to personal takes. My personal take is this was honestly, since this is coming from someone that's played the first 4 at this point. I haven't beaten 4, but I've played through 4. I would say it is definitely one of the better ones that I've played. I'll get to 2 at a later date, like I said, but it definitely exceeds that one. I don't know if it exceeds 3. 3 was an amazing game, and I think based on pure principle, I think this is exceeding 4 as well. It's a very good game, very good entry into the series as well, and I think that the creators put a lot of effort into it, and I can just tell based on that. I like that the power also works differently. I think I forgot to mention that. The power doesn't work like FNAF does, where it's like you start at 100 and it decreases rapidly. This game, it starts at 200, 250 even, I think maybe, whatever it is. And essentially it drains every time you close the door. And so if your door's closed, it's going to drain super quickly. If your window's closed, it's going to drain somewhat quickly, but not as fast as a door would, for example, which I really appreciate. And so I think overall, it's a very good game. And like I said, it is absolutely free. So I don't see a reason not to play it, in my opinion. So Zach and Isabel haven't played the game, but they have said to me that they've watched the videos and stuff, so they can speak for a little bit on what they think. So we'll start with Zachary.
Okay, so yeah, I've seen like Ethan play this game. It seems pretty cool. I do like the new mechanics it adds in with like the window aspect and like the different characters, like what they do, like with Luigi being completely silent and Peach being the complete opposite of like being complete noise, but you can't see her. And like just that, and like Mario's gimmick, like that's pretty cool. And I really like the mechanics of this game.
Good, Isabel?
Yeah, since I also watched the 2 videos of this game, I also really like the mechanics. I especially like Mario's mechanic because it kind of gives you more of a challenge because in order to not get killed by him, you cannot look at the cameras or else he'll move closer, and in order to tell if someone's gone without using the lights, you would need to look at the camera. And also with the window idea, it's very cool, and not a lot of people use it. That's why it's so unique, and that's all I have to say.
Okay. So moving on to, is it worth it? It's free, yes. Simple as that, it's free. Any game that's like, I mean, it's compared to other free games. I mean, this is on Game Jolt, keep in mind. And so any free games often get a bad rep because, you know, mobile games. This has nothing on mobile games at all. This is literally one of the best free games I've ever played. So take that as you will, but I would say yes. So finally, moving on to a final rating out of 10. It's not perfect, so I can't go to 10. I don't think it's a 9. I'm between 7 and 8, but I'm gonna go 7 because I think 3 was better. So I'm gonna give it a solid 7, and again, that's a good rating. Don't take that as like, oh, this game sucks. No, it's a very good game. I just think the third one was better, and I haven't played the fifth one, but maybe that's better. Who knows? So I want to keep myself at a good margin of 7. That's what I would give it. So Zach.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I was definitely in between 7 or 8, but yeah, I do think that 3 is definitely better than this one, but this one's still pretty good. The only thing I would just say is make it just a smidge harder, just a little bit.
All right, Isabel.
Yeah, I would also agree with going with 7. If the difficulty was maybe a bit more harder, and if the difficulty was just a bit more harder, maybe it would be higher. But I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right, well, that's gonna be it from us, guys. So hope this review helped you in playing the game, because maybe you just wanted to see someone play it, so you know if it's your type of game or not. Because like I said, most of the reviews we're gonna do are on like paid games, like you have to pay to play them, obviously. And so, but with free games, it's like most of the time it's worth it unless it's a cash grab piece of garbage, like some mobile games are, or like not even just mobile games. There's some games out there like Genshin Impact that are absolutely the worst games to ever play. But like stuff like this game has nothing on that at all. It's like awesome. So that's gonna be it from us, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this review, and we'll see you guys next time.